delighted to welcome Theoni Papoutsis today. Theoni has been a speaker before with us. Theoni is an amazing person that came into my life and is a doula and helps with postpartum things and run these women's circles, and I've gone for massages, and yeah, Theoni, I'll also put Theoni's details in the comments afterwards if you guys want to follow Theoni afterwards. If you are pregnant, I recommend it. And then I want to thank PregOmega for sponsoring this series of talks. We started yesterday, and that talk is still available if anyone wants to go back and watch it. And then today we're talking about postpartum expectations. We've got 2 more talks coming up on Friday and Monday. I'll put the posters in the comments. But PregOmega have also decided to spoil our readers and followers. So one lucky participant in the comments will get a voucher worth 2,500 Rand to spend a babysitting. I mean, that is just like awesome. Baby's eyes, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, that's just absolutely awesome. Thank you so much to PregOmega for sponsoring this voucher. So please let us just know in the comments, like anything you want to say or ask. If you've recently had a baby and you've got a tip to share about postpartum, what it was like. I know I was caught unawares very much. And let us know how far you are along in your pregnancy. And then over to Theoni. I know you've got a lot to say about postpartum, and you deal with postpartum women regularly.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me. I always love to come and speak. So postpartum is such a tricky time because I think a lot of women focus on the birth.
Yeah.
And then suddenly we've got this baby, and then it's like, oh, and no one tells you that at day 4, the hormones, literally you fall off a cliff. So I'm not trying to scare anyone, but realistically we need to know so that we can prepare for, who's going to be there to support us, who's going to bring food, all of that. Yeah. And also things like, what food should you be eating? You should be only eating warm foods because the body is healing. Yeah. You've just birthed a baby, you've grown a baby for 9 months, and now, you need to restore this body. Especially if you're going to have a subsequent pregnancy and for your health for the next 40 years.
Yes.
So during my 40 years, the first 40 days are so important. It's actually called the sacred window. So it's this window of time where women have this optimal time to get the breastfeeding going, to heal, to restore, and to feel like they are part of a community.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in this world that we live in, a lot of us have lost that.
Yes.
And so part of my mission is to try and bring that back more and more.
Yeah.
So I'm able to come to your home to cook, to do all the things and support you, but also you can get family and friends involved.
Yes.
So that they can also be supporting you on this time.
So I have all those promises that were made during your baby shower, of meals or whatever. Anything you need one. Take up those promises. And yes. Yeah.
And when people visit, you're not expected to see them as visitors.
Yes.
You must be in your bed with your baby. So again, we talk about the 5-5-5. I like to say 10-10-10 because I like you to do it for longer. So 10 days in your bed.
Lovely.
10 days on your bed.
Rest.
10 days around your bed. And the problem is we don't know how to rest.
Okay.
We don't know how to rest. We're told we must work right up until you give birth, which I do not recommend.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't do that.
Yeah.
You start learning how to slow down and how to rest.
Yes.
Because your body slows you down. You start getting you can't walk as well, and you're heavy. And so you want to start taking that advantage of that. How do I slow down?
Yes.
How do I... Because when you've got this baby, you just do the baby.
Yeah.
You have to slow right down.
Yeah.
And you've got to rest. And so a lot of women, it's hard to rest
Yes.
because they're just not used to and just don't know how.
Yes.
So it's how do we practice rest so that we can restore eating warm foods, receiving body work, belly binding, all of that supports the body. I mean, the belly binding feels like a beautiful hug.
Yeah.
It supports that lower back because now, these muscles have been on holiday for a long time. Also, your belly is not going to be like flat. Like, oh, baby's here, whoops.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It took 9 months for your belly to get that big. It's going to take 9 months to get back to whatever normal is.
Yes.
So please, I see people at the gym like, oh, my baby's 3 months old, and I'm like, It took you 9 months to get there.
Yeah.
Only after 9 months can you complain
Yes.
or do something major about it.
Yeah.
So you do look about 20 weeks pregnant still, and that's also absolutely normal
Yeah.
to look that pregnant.
I'm so glad that I've observed that there has been a shift. I think over the, I've been around doing this pregnancy magazine work also for, 20 years now almost. And there definitely has been a shift away from this, you've just got to pop the baby out and, go back to work immediately and be up and about and around and doing it all. There's definitely been a shift to being more, the more restful healing approach, which is amazing. I mean, I remember in 15 years or so ago, there was this French, I don't know if you remember the story, a French member of parliament who had a baby, and 5 days later she was giving a speech in parliament. And it was everyone was admiring her and saying how amazing and how strong or whatever. And I just, that poor woman, because if you've had a baby, you know how she had to squeeze herself into this little, work outfit. You know she's got a pad in her panties there and she is bleeding. And baby, and the distress of being away from your baby and facing people and putting this face on, that's not. I felt sorry for her, and I think in a way, I'm not saying you shouldn't admire her. This was her choice, but really, if you can avoid doing that kind of thing and plan your life in such a way that you can really just rest and not
save this time, because you're never going to have it again. If you have a second baby, you're running after the first baby, so you're not going to have this time.
Yes,
and it is what we call a liminal phase.
Okay.
It's this phase of becoming. So you are this child's mother and you are a parent, but you're still finding your way. So it is a huge identity shift.
Yes.
Postpartum.
Yeah.
And so it's I'm becoming. So it's also, you don't fall in love with your baby immediately. You don't go, oh, I love you. It's like, whoa, this looks different to what I felt inside, and it's a whole person.
And it's a lot.
And it's a process of becoming. So you actually fall in love with the child over days,
yes,
over weeks, of like, oh wow, I'm not, yes, I really love this baby, and so all of that is so important to remember that it's not it's a time of becoming.
Yeah, and it's also interesting that the difference between, I think, first babies and second babies, because in the first ones, all of this is a big surprise and can be quite shocking, and then with the second one, you know a bit better, but then you also have a toddler, so actually going into this restful phase is good for the whole family. If you can just be at home and chill, and your toddler will adapt better to all of this too, if you just present with yourself and the baby and not trying to rush around and solve, world problems.
And more now than ever, people are realizing how important a regulated nervous system is.
Yes.
And so if a mom's nervous system is not okay, baby's not going to be okay.
Yes.
And so that's a lot of work that I do as well, is with the nervous system, to make sure that mom is in a settled place.
Yes.
Because if she is in this hyper-aroused state after birth, of course, things are not going to work as good.
Yes.
Breastfeeding's not going to work as well. She's going to feel stressed. She's not going to be able to sleep or rest. So it's all goes into the pot.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Our 10 minutes are up. I really think we could talk an hour. But I hope you guys got the idea. Rest, give yourself space, time, settled, calm, enjoy all the love surrounding you. And thank you, PregOmega, very much for sponsoring these talks. And remember, there's that great Babies Are Us voucher, 2,500 Rand that one of you gets.